I found after our last call, which kind of ended with you being like, do the stickers, or like tell me that you're not going to do them, and it had this like boss energy to it that I was like, all right, we've got like Malcolm's boss energy. This is actually kind of oddly satisfying in this, in this moment, having So as I was sort of like metabolizing some of that, one thing that arose was thinking about responsibility, and like not like responsibility and the whole reframe of that, but like responsibility.
Sure.
In the sense, in the same way that you have been like, betrayal. What if this isn't like, an H2 concept that we shouldn't have in H3, and it's like, what's the H3 version of, or like a structural understanding of this? And so I've been kind of sitting with this, like, what's if the sort of like moralistic aspect of responsibility is kind of shed, or the like somethingness of that isn't at the like focus or center of it, what's left? What's the like structural shape of responsibility in all the like common ways and places that it's used? And one thing that kind of came to mind is a sense of like, it relates to the idea of defaults, like what happens by default. And like the stickers are a good case study of that in some way. It's like, you are responsible for the stickers in as much as our shared assumption is that if we don't talk about it, you do the stickers, or something like that. And me taking responsibility for the stickers would mean something like changing that default in some way, and changing the default is structural. Like I think we can, like, part of where responsibility maybe can get funky or tangly is that it's like how do you actually change a default? Is it like changing who gets punished if the stickers don't happen?
Right.
Like, or is it just like, there's almost a sense in which if we say I'm responsible for it, but both of us kind of know that you're going to do it anyway, I haven't actually taken responsibility for it. And like it somehow our actual, like, I guess maybe this relates to your thing of your old post on expectations. It's like, if our actual expectation underscore maybe was 1, like anticipation sense of what by default happens is that I'm going to do it, then that means I have taken responsibility, like succeeded at actually taking responsibility for it. Because there is this notion where it's like, someone can be like, I'm going to take responsibility for this, and then they don't do it, and someone else is like, I thought you had taken responsibility for that, but you're not taking responsibility for blah, blah, blah. Like, there is a sort of empirical sense of, if someone's not actually doing the thing, then they have not succeeded in like taking responsibility for it, even if they have claimed to, or like.
Yeah, with the caveat that like, they could also be like letting the larger whole know that they can't handle the thing. Like that's a kind of responsibility, right? Like,
yes, right. Yeah, that was part of how thank you for that. That was part of how your comment, right? Because it's like, it's about defaults in the sense that it's like, that doesn't mean the person who does it by default always does it. It just means they do it by default. And if they're not going to do it, it's like you said, they would communicate to the larger system or someone else in the system in some way that they're not doing it, so that it can still happen.
Yeah.
And that helped me understand. It was like trying to understand what's generating Malcolm's sense of like, it's not do the stickers, it's do the stickers or tell me you're not going to do the stickers, even though I don't even want to. It still would feel like you're doing the thing that's generating that energy by telling me you're not doing stickers.
Yeah, like you are satisfying your responsibility for it.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yep. So I wanted to put all of that out because, you know, it's not, I mean, there's probably more layers of like clarifying that articulation, whatever, that could be valuable, but I wanted you to have the context of that sort of crystallizing of thinking in some way, and then telling you about that I have been thinking of what a contractual relationship between myself and Complice would look like, that could be really satisfying. And I've started kind of sketching out an idea that at a very broad level is like, okay, so the idea is like, Complice has paid George for an amount of time worked, like a